Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another exciting Propagandacast with me, your host, Imperial Dane, Master of Propaganda, Hero of Psych, Defender of the Fatherland. We're off here to an exciting 1v1 online Sky between the South. We got here Boris, because I know the guy keeps changing his name and I'm not unsure what his actual name is, so just Boris for now, fighting here for the Soviet Union for the 212th Rifle Division versus the North. We got Dots here fighting for the Oberkommando West for the 5th SS Panzer Division Viking. We got here break for immediately chosen. We also got here defensive tactics, mechanized support, and Soviet reserve. Also, a quick thanks to Jeremy for updating his Patreon pledge, and to Mark, not the Mark from yesterday, but another Mark, for donating to the Propagandacast and supporting the war effort. Most appreciated, both of you. Thank you. And meanwhile, we got here Doc Bulletin wise, we got Panzer Bulletin Infantry and King Tiger there versus defensive tactics mechanized. Oh yeah, I'll mention that, but also bullets here for anti-tankers, bar with faster build times, infantry build times, and increased penetration on the T-34-76. Points have been grabbed by conscripts, more conscript away there for him, though we also note a special rifle command science. So sort of interesting start there. I mean, most players, build it, then get something from it, but Boris is actually waiting with that, instead maybe aiming for a scout cut or possibly some penal troops or a sniper. So yeah, been interesting there. More focus on getting out some troops fast, in which case, of course, this does help just a bit, shaving off a few seconds here and there. And meanwhile, we got here Dots heading hard east with Volksgrenadiers and Sturm Pioneers, though with more on the way and actually sort of edging up the west side here. Counterattack holding their hands tightly. Jürgen, hold it tighter. Both hands. Schnell, though technically German troops were actually taught to run with the rifles in one hand, actually. More focus on the way for Dots here. Fuel point being seized. He could lay down some barbed wire here to make it harder for sort of Boris there to make a run for. Making a hard push towards the centre. Folks, they're arriving. Penal troops then on the way for him. So again, sort of focusing a bit more on tempo there. Waiting with the more elite troops until he sort of, got a bit of map control here and can then sort of use them to support up the conscripts as well. Maybe flank whatever the conscripts are attacking. Certainly a few options there for Boris to consider. A bit of barbed wire there. It's pulling back here to defend. And in the centre of the fault as well. He's expecting, Boris soon to make a move here to actually make an attack. And he wants to be ready sort of wherever it is. Setting up position then cover. And there you go. The attack happens in the centre. Needs some troops towards it. And there we go. The response is swift and lethal. Ish. Conscripts suffering minor losses as they charge in. Folks as they're flanking in. Other conscripts squad flanking from the right hand side. It's over here. Nicely shoot there by Dots then in terms of a defense again, basically sort of series of sentries, then wherever the attack happens, then sort of pulls in the other troops to then deflect and counterattack with, in this case, beating a sizably larger Russian force, at least briefly, by simply, slowly overwhelming at the numbers himself. Scout car there on the way there for Boris afterward, Volkswagen Everson Engineers. Penal troops willing to deal with that, so basically a bit of return effort there from Boris towards Dots, and he has to retreat those Volksgrenadiers. He needs to pull into cover, at least wait. Truck out there, and that could be a battle group headquarters, could be mechanized regiment. Volksgrenadiers they're reinforcing, and there we go, M31 out here for Boris, rolling hit there on its American-made tires. Field troops at the flamethrower as well, upping up here the assault anti there from Boris, increasing the firepower he can bring to bear against his fascist opponent. And quickly popping into the scout car there, but no, briefly looked like he was going to do that. And could be a mechanized regiment here, would not be a bad choice. And there we go, then he can follow up with the Lux or a Puma here versus opponent. Scout car, they're taking a lot of damage, he's moving up, they're fighting over the counterattack, but his focus on the scout car does mean the penal troops get more free shots, and I'd say those are probably the bigger threat here than the scout car, but he really wants to fix that one out first here. So in this case, prioritization he's used there from Dots is giving Boris' penal troops there a lot of free shots against his men, killing a lot of Volksgrenadiers in the process. Though of course he did get the scout car, but at quite a high cost there. More conscripts then rising into the follow-up as a second wave there. And in fact, here we go, actually nice move there. He's merging the conscripts with the penal troops, allowing them to keep fighting much more doggedly against the Germans. Well done there. Again, merge is a bit, I think, underestimated ability there from the Soviet players, but can again utilise to keep sort of more high-value units to keep pushing there, without necessarily needing a half-track to reinforce them. In this case, he needs to pull back or get the other conscript squad up there to reinforce soon. And just in the nick of time, they managed to fully merge here. So again, they can just keep pushing, they can keep getting damage, and they can, of course, keep getting experience. And with this, I mean, you can basically just maintain momentum. And again, that's one of the reasons they will emerge. Again, they won't be as strong as a sort of fully, regularly up-reinforced penal troop squad. But again, if you just want to maintain a field, frontline presence, make it hard for you to be pushed off, again, you're not less thinking that. Again, you're thinking momentum, pressure, tempo. In that sense, merging overall offers a lot more better options. And in this case, though, fresh counterattack there from the Germans does overwhelm him, but really just using merge there, he's been able to really pressure dots there so much and just keep him back and do so much damage. I mean, really good use of merge there by Boris. Really good use of merge. Again, merge I think is one of those abilities that just gets so completely neglected, underestimated. And again, I think it's really sort of a really good ability if properly utilized. Like for example there, again, it's basically sort of like, a reinforcement without needing to spend anything on sort of getting there, just use conscripts. So yeah, good work there by Boris, and he's been utilizing that and sort of deny resources. But there you go, the response is quick there from Dots, counter-attacking, and soon go for the looks as well. He could also go for an officer to help get his troops a bit more firepower. He could go for Panzer Fusiliers soon enough. We'll of course have to see what he does aim for. Concentrating out there. Penal troops being reinforced as well. One odd out there. Please! I haven't done anything wrong! You have now. Niet. Troops moving up there. Looks on the way there for Dots. That's definitely going to apply a bit of pressure there to Boris, who's got no anti-tank grenades. Though he has gone here for defensive, and he's calling up the Duska, which can help a bit, but he'll probably then quickly go for the M42 45mm anti-tank gun, which was used throughout the entire war, though increasingly it would have been used for more defensive formations, just sort of be set up to flank German tanks as they drove past, for example. As it really would have been any better than good besides just flanking tanks for that 45mm caliber there. As the war progresses, full squads here versus conscripts. Penal troops there as well, halfway to veteran free already again. That's just that merge again, allowing them to just keep fighting and soak up most of the experience again, allowing him basically just giving them a bit more of a fast track there on the experience train. So again, really a lot of benefits, good usage of merge. Really can't stress enough. But now again, Dots does add that severe pressure element. Some of this will really, punish Boris here for not really going for some much anti-tank elements. Also need to retreat. Look close being up, but there you go. Looks moving up here. No anti-tank grenades that are available. He'll probably go for some soon. Support them company cancelled. And there you go. Instead ends up calling up the M42 45mm anti-tank gun. Constantly needs to be careful as well here in the west. Duska there keeps the cut-off point clear of fascists. But at the same time, he needs to pull that one quickly back. Otherwise, he does risk losing it and handing it over to the Germans. But looks there finding away with its 2cm autocannon. Gunning down those Russians. We could see a wipe there. We probably will be seeing a wipe there. And there we go. That's going to hurt there. Boris in the early game against the Fascisti. Up close here. Not doing too well either for the engineers. There we go. Quick hit there from the 42mm gun. Oh, 45, not 42. That's just the name. M42. Almost got engineers there, but there you go. He finally got anti-tank grenades here. He does quickly hit, damaging the engine and punishing him for going a bit, overboard. He could, by the way, consider either some more infantry or maybe sneak in some MG34s or just, Panzer Fusiliers. There we go. And I'm guessing some G43s, also upgrading his Fultz candidates with assault rifles would be good choices. But he needs to quickly move up the infantry to try and sort of screen off the retreat party of the Looks. Otherwise, he does risk, anything happening and then it's lost. In this case, just being all-right enough and then grenaded. No assault rifles here by the looks of it. Just the G43s here for the Panzer Fusiliers. Damaged engine. Need to get the infantry down there. Schnell, schnell. Very close to Veteran 3. There we go. Folks been caught out in the open. Just one now has hit Veteran 2. Another one hits there as well. And there we go. Veteran 3 for the penal troops, but they actually caught out in the open here. So without any cover, they're easy target for the swarm here. Bit of a block move there by Dots. Need to spread out more, use cover better. Second anti-tank out here for Boris, increasing the amount of firepower he can bring to bear versus German lighter vehicles and armor. Troops have been caught out in the open by the Duska heavy machine gun, which still sees usage today, by the way, though they did actually replace it with another sort of 50 caliber machine gun. The Russian army, there's the Soviet. Troops are being suppressed. Dushka needs to retreat now, being surrounded. Incendiary grenade off there. Back at base. Lux has yet to make it. 14 kills, so again, has been able to do a lot of damage there. Interesting enough, seems like he's forgotten about the West and actually harassing Boris there. He needs to do that. He needs to do that. He needs to work on denying his opponent valuable resources. Now that track on the way there for Dots, probably the battle group headquarters. Personally, I'd just recommend trying to rush ahead for the next tier, instead trying to get the Storm Pioneers up to Veteran 1 and laying down medical supply crates. And preserving the fuel. Because, I mean, just to get the medic bits up there as well, he's going to have to pay a lot of fuel, which again could have been then expended towards his spare panzered quarters and some faster medium armor. Of course, that is merely my opinion and my perspective. No need to have both squads taking points. One of them, they are quite low on health there. But so, you know, pushing towards it, grabbing the points, I think should be a priority right now for Dots. As for Boris, he needs a bit more infantry. He's very low, though instead he's taking up there, which can also work. A well-handled T-70 could in fact be a huge threat there because, well, he's got the looks, but he's got no other anti-tank elements. Catching another heavy machine gun out in the open, but they're going to tank gun opening up as well. Panzer Fusilier flanking in. Heavy damage there, T-70 on the way there. Douche cut, heavy machine gun being pushed back. Panzer Fusilier up and up there at close quarters with their rifles. Bit of movement up there in the west, good work. Back here. Repairs going on. Looks like he's actually aiming for the Schwerpanzered quarters. Was perhaps a misread by me there. He's just going for the battle group headquarters. Fixing up the looks. Could also consider some mines here, but I'm surprised there's been no assault rifles whatsoever. In fact, he's also caught up a second Panzer Fusilier squad. Panzer Fusilier was an originally a title, by the way, for the Panzergrenadiers of the Großdeutschland Panzerdivision. Later, other sort of Panzergrenadier units from sort of different units will also get the title of Panzer Fusilier. And in one case, there's also a more unique title called the Panzer Musketeer, which I can't quite remember where. I think it was the Großdeutschland which sort of had some. It was basically the name given to some dismounted tank crews, which was fighting as infantry, which wasn't really that uncommon throughout the war, in fact. So, of course, the German industry couldn't keep up with it, so in many cases there'd be cases where German tank crews would be fighting as infantry. It happened in Arnhem, for example. Fun fact. No, he actually did go for the battle group headquarters. And again, the field medics. Again, I think he should have gone for the Schwerpanzered quarters, tried to push for armor faster here versus Boris and the 212th Rifle Division. Got a Dushka moving up here to defend the fuel point there. Looks moving ahead, but again, needs to be careful with all the anti-tank guns about. He needs to try and flank more with it rather than trying to use it now sort of he's currently using it as a medium tank, which it's not. Fortunately being halted, almost got the fuel point, and there we go. Fresh penal troop squad having lost the other one in a brutal engagement that cost the Soviet Union dearly, except the, criminals. Kedmev out there to help deal with the T-70 light tank. He could actually take up again now if he wanted to, though he's yet to get the field medics, which he really needs to do otherwise. I mean, again, it just ends up being a waste of resources if he just builds it but doesn't use it. Peel just moved towards the centre there with a fresh flamethrower. Kedmev moving up. Where are the anti-tank guns? He's brought them towards here, bit of a reserve position. There you go. Field medics on the way there for Dots. Boris calls up another heavy machine gun. Fields have been caught out in the open. Like for that. Oh, needs to set up, Heavy anti-tank fire there from Boris's anti-tank front. Kedmev shoots, lands got it in the T-70, who likely... Gets away. That was close, though. Needs to use more cover, though. Boris, or Dots, yes, I think, is a bit too reliant on just sort of hordish infantry tactics, which does lead to sort of high casualties here and there. Needs to work on that because, again, it just leads to, well, high losses. Anti-tank guns, T-70 falling a bit back here. The T-70, I mean, the two anti-tank guns, for example, are quite vulnerable to an infantry assault from, say, the Panzer Fusiliers. Really needs to take up, though. Really needs to take up here. I mean, again, he's got the resources. Or he needs to consider bringing up more light vehicles. Puma, maybe another Lux. He could go for both. That would actually give him quite a, heavier sort of current presence. The double Lux is supported by Puma could actually deal with a lot of things. So, I mean, it wouldn't be a half bad idea. It's just most players never consider it. But I've actually had some success with some going double Lux, double Puma. can be surprisingly effective if you handle it correctly, though of course it does require keeping in mind the vulnerabilities and limitations of light vehicles. Almost got it, almost got the juice cut, and there we go, grenade off from the Panzer Fusiliers, double grenades. Wiping, is he going to try and steal it? He is, but in front of a T-70 that is asking for trouble. Again, it's high accuracy, high rate of fire means any attempt at that will usually result in huge losses unless you've got smoke to lay down, which he does not. Looks though Veteran did too. Increased accuracy, increased rate of fire, increased lethality. That T-70 there was fed a lot of experience there by Dots. That was not the brightest choice here. In the West, Juice Cut wipes out a Flux Squad. I actually think he'd upgraded it, so that makes it just a bit sadder there that he lost it like that. Mein Gott, so Wunderwaffen, they do nothing! Nothing! More Panzer Fusiliers instead. I think he's going a bit heavy on them. Again, I think he should be trying to, tag up, maybe get some Orbital Dart now. I mean, Panzer Fusiliers, though, are very good calling infantry for the Germans because they are 6-man squads at a reasonable price. It is 290, 6 men, good firepower, and so on there, though. At the same time, if you're not playing them carefully, they can still suffer a huge sort of cost. Still, he's getting a lot of the anti-tank gun, but loses it. Trying to repair too close to the front line there again. Dots needs to work on his unit preservation. He keeps making sort of slightly awkward choices, I think, then sort of setup positions and the likes. Not quite considering things. And we got a heavy mortar out now here as well for Boris. Actually, time here for the mid-game analysis in terms of damage. I mean, we sort of got a slight hit there, though. Kills-wise, Dots is leading. Again, he's been making decent use of his infantry and the looks, but again, the loss of it does present quite a cost. Army value-wise, again, he's been actually quite in the lead there, but map control-wise, I don't think he's been able to quite exert it as well as he could have. And again, right here with the loss of the looks and some other rivals here, again, they suddenly meet right there. In terms of resource float, bit more floating there from Dots. Again, he should have been taking up soon, I think, in terms of points held. Again, more in control-ish for an extent, but again, hasn't really been able to push it very hard. I think that's been one of the big issues. He's been too focused in one spot. And using his infantry, I would say, quite inefficiently, again, blobbily, which doesn't necessarily lead to very good map control. So that's a bit dangerous there, to be honest, there for Dots. In particular, since he had the looks, he could active control that a lot better. But again, he did not go in that direction. So that's a bit hurtful there for Dots, to put it mildly. Beyond that, not so much else to say about that, but Dots needs to tech. He needs to tech dearly, and there he goes, in fact, doing so. But he also needs to harass more in the west, and he needs now to get rid of that T-70. So again, trying to get some medium armor out, hunting it down, I think would be a really damn good start. But otherwise, again, more flanking, more harassment, and that's, just blobbing up with infantry and throwing that at the enemy. Again, it's not really a cost-efficient tactic for the Germans. Even if you do go for sort of like heavier infantry elements like the Panzer Fusiliers, it's still going to hurt you in the longer run if you're not careful, in particular with a lot of machine guns out like here, like, well, Boris has, plus the T-70. I mean, it's definitely not your usual Soviet play. I mean, relying on such elements there, in particular not the light anti-tank guns, but again, they've had quite an effect in just sort of keeping the looks there sort of under control. As for Boris, well, tech up would be good. Trying to move some medium armor, I think, would work out quite nicely. Some mines here and there sort of cover up against German attacks. Sort of more surrounding attacks there, I think, could be quite good. But beyond that, not too much I'll say about there. More infantry, I think, would be helpful. Again, more conscripts to merge with his penal troops, I think, would also serve him nicely. Or failing that, at least a half-track to support those penal troops. But let's return to the fight and see what happens here. Folks, there we got Panzer Fusilier moving in. Quick hit there. Quick hit, but not quite hitting. Ludwig catches on fire. And so does Otto. I told Otto all such schnapps was bad for him, but no, he wouldn't listen. Now look at it. He's burning alive. Falling back here, we got people being caught by a lot of G43s there, quickly being shot down. And a fun fact, the G43 was based on the Soviet SVT-40 semi-automatic rifle. The Germans did have the G41, but the problem is it wasn't really good. So it's only when they got their hands on the Soviet SVT-40 rifle they sort of figured, oh, that's how to do a semi-automatic rifle, and then sort of, made one of their own. So a fun fact there, actually, a fun fact. T-70 being repaired here, heavy mortar firing away. Troops reinforcing, healing, dots a lot more on the defensive against Boris, and there you go, grenade off, doesn't do too much here. Regular standard grenade there versus the 6-man heavy machine gun crew there. Fulton's moving up with an incendiary grenade, need to be quick about it. And there you go, Brandhandgranate goes off the nick of time before they get suppressed. Almost wiped that crew. T-70 gaining veterancy too, then that's bad news. You can soon go for the Yak Panzer. I mean, the Yak Panzer would be one option dealing here with the T-70 light tank from afar, and more safer point here. Though, of course, the Panzer IV could also work out nicely. And would certainly also have more versus the other elements. As long as he actually, say, tries to flank. I mean, the lines of tank guns will certainly struggle with the armor of the Panzer IV, but, you know, get too close, and the high rate of fire means there won't be that much of a difference anyways. No problem. Large push here again. We can see sort of dots, just things in very sort of straight lines. There's no attempt for someone sort of playing around his opponent. Counterattack. He just sort of rushes forward, relying on very brute raw force. And again, we can see it's sort of against a more driven player like Boris running into a few issues. There you go. Wipe the heavy machine gun. But again, T-70 firing away, and there's no immediate anti-tank. So again, he tries it. Will he have better success this time around? The anti-tank weapon slow to move up here. And wiped it again. Again, he tries again. I mean, he's spending a lot of manpower now. That's a lot of manpower just trying to steal it. I mean, how much do those Panzer facilities by the way cost there? That is, well, they are surprisingly cheap. But again, that's a lot of manpower. There goes Satchel Charge, wrecking it. Better wrecked than fascist. It's the motto there of Boris here. Again, map control is trending out there. He can soon go for the Panzer IV, and he should definitely then go for it. He needs to do so soon before it's too late. But again, there's been no effort to harass that at all. This is just a single infantry element. But again, just keeps on running, and he, you know, suffers quite a bit for it. Like, you know, riflemen or British infantry sections, the Germans don't get a lot of, you know, received accuracy bonuses, meaning, you know, blobbing tactics, running about in the open tactics, tend to get punished a lot more if you're not careful, which means don't blob up. In meanwhile, though, Boris here has checked ahead for the T-34-76, meaning he's actually going to be able to bring out armor faster here than, you know, Dodge actually was in control for quite a bit of while there, but again, failed to really sort of execute it with any sort of flair or speed. And he isn't even going for the Panzer IV now, despite not having the resource forward for at least, you know, 2 to 3 minutes. In fact, we can see that Boris is already aiming for a second T-34-76 here. Dodge definitely has a bit of working there to do, I think. Definitely a bit of work to do there in terms of timings and, you know, getting out your tanks on bloody time. There we go. Finally bringing up a Panzer IV there. I do feel, again, he could have out much, much sooner there versus Boris, but again, inefficient tactics and I would say slightly inefficient strategy. Rather has held that back, and means by this time already his opponent actually was on the back foot for a longer period of time, has been able to bring out a tank faster. So again, there's a lot of lessons there to be learned, and again, one in this, you know, tempo, tempo, tempo. Second T-34 almost done. Panzer IV almost done there for Dots. Again, need to spread out his troops more, use cover more. Again, I can't help but feel that Dots is a man who's gotten too used to blobbing here, which again might be why he goes for breakthrough, which is a blobber's favourite doctrine amongst other things, because again, it does work better with the blob tactics. T-70 striking, T-34-76 setting out, another T-34 as well. T-34 trying to get, but there you go, getting caught here by the Panzer IV. Shot bounces though for the Panzer IV. That's kind of rubbish there. T-34 misses. Other T-34 moving up, full to come in the flanks. There we go, shoots, bounces again. Wow. Hey, some rubbish luck there for darts. Absolute rubbish. A machine gun being caught there by Sturm Pioneers and the Panzer IV. T-34 on the hand lands an excellent hit on the Sturm Pioneers. Shoots again and fails to penetrate again. Oh dear. Shots just keep bouncing. No one seemed to be able to land a penetrating hit there. Misses this time around. Oh no. Ludwig, are you firing training ammunition? God damn it, shoot properly. We need to penetrate those bastards or we'll never make it through this war alive. But Kedmov on the way there for him. And we can see he now has been able to bring out anti-tank to further frustrate any counter-attacks again. If he were to attack for anywhere else, he might have more luck. But again, so far, Dot's tactical approach, very much the brute force approach, the fanatical Waffen-SS approach seems to be deeply ingrained into him. So again, that approach never really seems to, be questioned. We can see Katusha there on the way for Boris. Panzer IV firing. Anti-tank. Oh, bouncing there, but again, these are the expected to bounce. Again, they're like anti-tank guns. T-34 moving in. More shots bouncing. Wow. No one seems to be able to... Oh, there we go. Light anti-tank gun. Penetrates first. T-34 still bounces. Panzer IV misses again. Wow. More penetrating hits from the light anti-tank guns. This is starting to get a bit embarrassing. Bounces again. That Panzer IV's yet to get a single penetrating hit on the T-34s. But now it's all taken off down because he attacked into the anti-tank guns. I mean, again, tactically, he needs to work on it. He's way too prone again on just sort of blobber mentality, which again just tells you attack head on. T-34 almost knocked out their Panzer IV abandoned. Other T-34 in trouble, exposing its rear to the Schwer panzered quarters, which then ends up doing a lot more than the Panzer IV ever did. Main gun destroyed. Volkswagen need to get up Panzer fast. Gets the T-34 but almost wiped out by the T-70 and the T-70 gets them. Here Volkswagen's a lot of trouble here by the douche cup eventually too. Gonna try then recruit the Panzer IV and get it back in action. But there you go, we got Katusha Barrett's inbound, I think on the spot there. No, he's moving over the Sturm Pioneers. And he's not moving them away. No, Dots. Nein. Dummkopf. And there we go, direct hit wiping out the Panzer IV and the Sturm Pioneers. Wow, that was brutal. But again, I think it's a very good highlight in why I just think blobbing is just poor for you. Not only is it just a cheesy tactic, but problem is, in sort of longer term, it actually hurts your unit preservation a lot. Because you stop caring about the men individually, meaning you're just going to get slower and more, lax, meaning you just suffer heavier casualties whenever you do suffer them. And that's really something, as we can see, that Boris is really good at hurting. So again, remember, blobbing is not the way forwards, unless you're the Americans at the moment. Waka waka. But again, that's hopefully what a balance patch in the near future will do something about, or sometime in the future. But again, consider, attacking from other angles than directly head on. In particular, as the Oberkommando West, who does not have smoke, you really should not be attacking head on, repeatedly, into machine guns or anti-tank gun fronts, even the lighter ones. Though again, really he had rubbish luck with that Panzer IV and penetrating anything. The chances of that Panzer IV repeatedly failing to penetrate the T-34s, I think, are quite high, actually. That's quite some rubbish luck. That's the point we actually begin talking about RNG, not just, one failed penetration, but a Panzer IV repeatedly failing to penetrate T-34s. That's, actual grounds for complaining about RNG. Mines down there. Another T-34 up there for Boris. Another Panzer IV. Share Panzer quarters firing again there. Bit quiet here. Akedmev sneaking about. I think he's trying to hunt down the Katyusha with it. Promised his mines there. So he's, I suppose in a sense what he's trying to do is pull off what Jove did, except he's obviously a lot less good than Jove. Second Panzer IV out there for Dots. And again, keep noting, he just keeps attacking down the exact same avenue. There's no attempt for some maneuvering about there. Or flanking, or trying to catch the opponent a bit off guard. It's just the same on head-on attack there. And Akedmev's about to hit a mine. He spotted the Katyusha. Will he shoot at it? Nope. Shoot it! Shoot it! 50 points left, Katyusha down. So he does manage to pull it off there, gaining veterans in 4. Panzer IV there, shoots. Misses. Again, with a retreat here. And again, Panzer IV suffering the brunt here of a lot of lines of tank guns firing from the front. Akedmev got wiped on retreat, by the way. Dot's tactical ability here has quickly been called into question. Almost got the T-34 Panzer IV in a bit of trouble. Main gun destroyed. And there you go. Dot surrenders. GG. Game over. Clearly not the best display here by the later half. But again, I think, again, a very valuable lesson. And why, again, blobbing is bad for you. Because, again, it really leads to bad unit control down the road. Unit preservation. Again, it also leads to really poor tactical judgment down the road as well. And as you can see here again, initially he was actually doing quite well, but again, as the blobbing sort of really took over him, he just sort of, in terms of just tactical perspective, narrowed further and further down until, you know, he just sort of very narrow lane. He just had to attack down through, suffering huge casualties while doing so again. So, you know, try and avoid that down the road. You know, try and avoid that. Try to hold flank maneuver and sort of surround your opponents. For example, again, as the Ober Commander West, he did a rather horrid job as the game went on. Too slow taking up there, too slow in getting out armor. The battle group headquarters, I see, was practically a waste of the way he handled his infantry. Anyways, and I mean, there's obviously just the thought going for more Luxus and Pumas. By the way, you know, tactically a lot more to work on, strategically initially well, but again, needs to work on a lot more down the road. And he could also easily lay down a lot more mines. He could use his doctrine a lot more extensively. Officers, breakthrough tactics. I mean, there's a lot more they could have done with rather than just spam Panzer Fusiliers and get them murdered. As for Boris, interesting strategy and tactics there. Good use of merge, good use of light vehicles, armor, anti-tank guns of the light kind, mortars, machine guns. Overall, really nicely played there by Boris. Though again, a bit of a risky strategy. He wasn't careful. And again, in this case, I do think he got pretty lucky with his opponent. And in one case, with that first Panzer IV, rather lucky with the RNG. So there you go. Hope you enjoyed this match. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you learned something from it. If you did want to subscribe, tell a friend, share it with everyone. If not, send in reply and feedback in the comments section. This is Imperial Dane signing off, and see you all tomorrow for another exciting episode. Cheers.